Welcome, welcome, welcome. It's a brand new show. Let's Talk Shelbyville. I'm your host, Marilyn, Ewing. And, this particular segment is called Minutes with the Mayor. It's the Shelbyville City Mayor, the Honorable Randy Carroll. Welcome to you, Mayor.
Thank you, Councilmember Ewing. I appreciate being with you today.
Absolutely. It's a brand new environment, brand new show.
Got a new set?
Yes.
We can do this. Yeah.
Thank you.
I always want to tell the people what's going on and be able to talk to them. Yeah, very good.
That's right. When you talk Shelbyville, Tennessee, you have to think of growth. It's amazing because about 6 years ago, we were at 23,000 or so.
That's right.
Today, it's more than 25,000.
Yes.
I
think it may be even more than that. I think it may be 26 or 27, but no matter. We are growing at probably 3 or 4% every year.
Yeah.
That does put a lot of strain on the schools.
Yes.
Puts a lot of strain on our road system. Puts a lot of strain on the power system and the sewer system and all that. And of course, we've got a lot of houses going up, and people need a place to live, so that's a good thing. We just need to be careful and make sure that each one of those developments that we have, and our planning folks and the city council has been very efficient in working, trying to see, that'll work or it won't work, and those kind of things. And we're talking about expanding roads. Just talk to the planning man about, do we need to go 4-lane here, or can we do that?
Yeah, we're a little cramped because so much is going on, so many things is happening in various parts of town. And of course, as we mentioned growth, that means infrastructure, that means utilities, that means more police, more fire, as you mentioned, schools. So everyone has to work together, be prepared, first of all.
That's exactly right. And we have just added 3 firemen to our fire department. Of course, we bought police cars last year, about 7 of those, and our police department, I think, is fully staffed at the moment. But as the population grows, we do to meet requirements for safety, insurance purposes, and all those with the fire department and the police department. So we might want to make sure that they're well staffed and well equipped to take care of our people.
Absolutely.
We don't want anybody to be lacking services like that.
Go ahead.
All right. Shelbyville Power System, of course, we work with them. Shelbyville Power System is kind of a branch of the Shelbyville city government. And Jason Reese, the general manager, and I have talked many times about different things that are happening. And extending sewer lines.
Yes.
We've just gotten a grant to extend sewer lines out on the Murphy Square Highway. That'll serve the new Middle Tennessee State Aerospace Program. Also, we'll pick up some of the subdivisions out there that we already have, and the church that's out there. So we're hoping that growth in infrastructure takes a lot of money.
Yes.
But it's got to be in place before you, before you build. We don't want to work on it after everybody's got things built.
Sometimes that might happen, but we don't need for it to happen.
That's exactly right.
Yes. Speaking of roads, let's talk about this a little bit, because as we mentioned, we're a little cramped in various parts of town. As things go up and such, it's very important the access road can come from point A to point B. A lot of the talk in Shelbyville, of course, is the new Chick-fil-A that's coming up.
Right.
We've got a new McDonald's and such. The traffic issue, how are we going to deal with this right there on the main corridor?
That was one of the new things, or one of the biggest things that we had to deal with Chick-fil-A and with McDonald's. I mean, we had the property available, and our real estate folks had it available for these 2 companies to come in, and we're glad to have them.
Yes.
But we had to go with TDOT because that's 231, that's a state highway.
Sure is.
And they have to give us guidelines on traffic patterns. They had to do a traffic study and all those different things. Chick-fil-A, I think we're going to have left and right. Of course, we've got 5 lanes there. We've got a turn lane at that part, and we do also up there where McDonald's is. But instead of being a right and a left exit at McDonald's, it's going to be only a right in, right out, and then you'll have to go onto Hickory Drive. You can go back over to Fairfield Pike, or you can come out onto North Main. So we hope that's going to help some of that traffic congestion. As these new restaurants open up, we're going to see some traffic jams, and we've already talked to the Ms. Womack who was the owner-operator, called me the other day and wanted to know if we could have some police presence.
Yes.
On December the 7th is when they're supposed to have their grand opening. And so she gave me some times, and I passed that along to our city manager and also to our police chief, Jan Phillips. And they are going to try to take care of that 11 to 2 that on those opening days, and 5 to 8 they think will be the busiest times. And if they need a mower, our Shelbyville Police Department's always ready to be there.
Absolutely. Yeah. Speaking of Chick-fil-A, a lot of talk about the money that was exchanged from the city to that facility, but it was not taxpayer money.
No, it was not. The hotel motel funds are used, of course, for people staying in hotels and motels and have RVs that they come into the RV parks, then they pay a tax on that. And that tax is used by the city government for economic development, and we're going to talk about that in just a little bit, and in tourism. So we can use those funds in that situation, economic development, bringing Chick-fil-A in. Now, we would like to have partners on that because the county's going to get sales tax with that too. And this partnership group that worked a little bit with it, we want to make sure that they will be partners financially as well as, you know, it's easy to go out and sell something if you don't have any skin in the game. But you've got to have some skin in the game. You've got to put some money up front to do that. And the city had given a lot of money to the partnership over the years. So $375,000 that we had given to try to help with economic development.
Yes, absolutely. Let's get back a little bit on roads. It feels a lot better on Madison Street for the most part.
Right.
Okay, so that's going to continue. There will be sidewalks going up there as well.
Right. Madison Street was pretty rough. I had gotten a lot of calls. I've been in office, well, I'll be in office for 1 year, December the 8th. And thank you for that, folks. But Madison Street is a state highway. We had to wait on TDOT. You know, we had people going into the school out there where Hillcrest Drive intersects. We had Celebration Drive where it intersects with Madison Street, and there were some pretty good potholes, and and pavement was in pretty bad shape. But we were hoping that they didn't do the paving during the horse show while it was going on. That happened on North Main years ago. But Madison Street looks good right now. They've done the striping on it. It's very, I was out there the other night and I said, this is really looks good. I was at the ball game, the Eagles ball game, and was going out through there and I said, that really looks good. Sidewalks, yes, we've already got the grant for that.
Good.
And so we'll put that into operation. And we've got the grant working on for Depot and that area, the people to walk into town.
Yeah, wonderful. Mr. Mayor, we're going to take a very quick break. We're going to come back with plenty of more, as you mentioned, a little economic in there as well. So more talk as Let's Talk Shelbyville, Moments with the Mayor. I'm Marilyn Ewing, back in a moment.
Just in case you didn't know, the Shelbyville Codes and Planning Departments have relocated, now in their new location at 100 North Cannon Boulevard, the former Chamber of Commerce building, the Building and Codes Department, safeguarding the public health, safety, and general welfare safety to life and property from fire and other hazards, and a whole lot more. Planning and community development, overseeing the physical development of this community and implementing zoning regulations while developing long-range planning. The facility also serves as the chambers for the Shelbyville City Council for study sessions, monthly business meetings, and special call workshops. Study sessions occur once a month before the standard monthly council meeting. Business meetings are the second Thursday of each month, both at 6 p.m. Special call workshops are advertised on social media and the local newspaper. Our goal is to make your existence in Shelbyville and Bedford County a pleasure and as pain-free as possible. The Shelbyville Codes and Planning Departments and the Shelbyville City Council Chambers at its new location, 100 North Cannon Boulevard, in the former Chamber of Commerce building, Shelbyville.
We are back here. Let's Talk Shelbyville. It is Moments with the Mayor. It is the Honorable Randy Carroll, the Shelbyville City Mayor. Well, I'm excited because I saw where the Capri Theater was all lit up. It's beautiful. And it's one of a kind, so.
I just happened to be walking around the square that day, and they were working. I saw them working down there, so I thought, kind of interesting to me. And of course, I was with the electric company for all 30-some years, and I went down there, and they were putting transformers and new wiring in that side. And they said, "Well, we'll turn it on for you." It was during the day, and I appreciated that. It really looks good. The facade grant that our city manager and some of the folks in our city staff have been working on is really, just look at the front of these, and the merchants have been so great in putting their money into it as well as the grant money that they had. And again, working together like that, it really looks good around the square. We've still got some more work to do, but we're working now to get restaurants up on the square. The Glass House Table and Tavern, I think is the correct name for that, Ms. Beasley and Mr. House, Jeb House. They're working on that, and the front of that building is taking shape, and I love the windows and things they have on the side. Then we'll have the Grindstone Cowboy that will come later on, Bedco Corporation, taking that those corner buildings that have been kind of dead for years, they're going to come alive. And I like that. I like that. So the exciting things on the square, but we've got other things happening in Shelbyville that we'd like to see. Some buildings that are existing that need somebody to go into them, just like
So hopefully we can make it work for somebody, whether it be retail or industry, that type of thing, because these abandoned buildings have been here a while.
And the blessing of that is, and I've talked to the engineer at Shelbyville Power, and I understand it, the utilities are already there on these buildings. Now, some of them have good bones, they could probably be renovated, but there may be some situations where they may have to tear the building down, but the utilities are still there. So that cuts down on the cost of a company coming to us, retail especially that we're looking at. We'd love to have some clothing stores in Shelbyville. I know folks would love to shop their clothes here if we can get, and we've got a few of those on the square, and we appreciate that. But also sit-down dining, and of course the Glass House Tavern will be like that. But we could have some others that could come in, some chain restaurants that could fit into some of these buildings, I think. So we're working that way. We're working with retail strategies that have worked with some of our cities in Tennessee. They work with Tullahoma, and you can see where the things are happening in Tullahoma. So we want those things to happen in Shelbyville. And we've got plenty of abandoned buildings that could be used.
Absolutely. We are working toward gaining an economic developer for the city of Shelbyville, and that is very important for the jobs and that type of thing.
It is. And economic developer, I just wanted to read to you. Economic development is programs, policies, and activities that seek to improve the economic well-being and quality of life for a community. What it means in each community has a little different. It's just according to what your needs are. But yes, economic development is very important. But you you need to do it with caution. Make sure you have the workforce available. You need to make sure that you're not overrunning as far as dollars and cents, what the city can afford, what the people can afford, those kind of things. Dollars and cents, we have to watch it in the city. We don't have an unlimited supply of dollars, so and it's your money, and we're making sure that we're spending it properly. And our council member, Ms. Ewing here, and the other council members are doing a great job with that. I've just really had a great time working with those folks this last year.
Likewise, Mr. Mayor. The city growing so fast with so many people moving here, are we well equipped right now with jobs that maybe pay the average $45,000, $50,000 a year?
Well, we've got jobs open, but they're the $15, $16, $17, and then some of the other companies have stepped up. I know Tyson has stepped up and is giving more for starting wages and even giving bonuses if they will go to work, and that's a great thing. But these jobs where you start out at $45,000, $50,000, that's one of the things that we're looking forward to Duxon, which is in the North Business Park out on 231. They have promised that they will pay maybe $57,000 in mobile with benefits, extra benefits on top of that. We also have just concluded North Business Park, the last 26 acres of it, to Nearest Green. And you know, Nearest Green has the horse farm, and their facility out there is just wonderful out on 231. And Mr. and Ms. Weaver are just wonderful people to work with. And Mr. Weaver thought that they needed that 26, 27 acres. And so they are going to take that over, and they're looking at 100 jobs for that facility, a distillery. And then Duxon has promised 100 jobs. Both of those are a $100 million investment. So we have guidelines with our IDB, our Industrial Development Board, that if you put so much money, if a company comes in and if they have 25 million or 100 million, then we have guidelines on how many years that we will help them with taxes and things like that. And also, they make these promises about employees. And so we want to make sure that they meet those promises, because we got people that want jobs and want those higher paying jobs.
That's right.
I would want one if I was.
Yeah. Sounds good. We have added something very special in Willowmont Cemetery.
Yes.
Of course, the council, the mayor, and staff have talked several times. We're running out of room.
That's right.
So we did something different. The columbariums have been there, placed, and so on.
That's exactly right. The columbarium, if you don't know, that's for people who are cremated, and they need to have a place for their remains and where the family can go and visit with them and those things like that. And Mr. Ballard, our Public Works Director, and Ben and the other staff out there at the Willowmont Cemetery, what a great job they do keeping it up. But they have added 242 units. And this columbarium is in a circular concrete, and it has about, I think, 5 different facilities that have a receptacle for each one, and it'll have the names and dates, just like it would for a funeral and for a cemetery. And people were having to pay for cemetery lots for their loved ones, and this will be a place in the cemetery that they can do that. I think for opening and closing that, Mr. Valley, to give me some fees, if people need to know, $75, which is a whole lot cheaper than opening the grave and those kind of things like that. So that helps the people financially when they're trying to help their loved ones get put away. $150 to open and close on weekends or holidays, so that's for the overtime and things. You can buy a granite bench if you wanted to go on that columbarium, so if you could, and you could put names on it or whatever you want, $1,200 for that. I don't know how many people would do that, but they will be engraving on the doors, and it'll be approved by the sexton, which is the people that run the cemetery out there. Again, 242 units, and what will the cost be? About $500.
Wow.
And now the grave plots are 800. Did we just approve 850? Is it 850 or 800?
800.
Okay, 800. So this will give them, and won't cost them as much, but they can go to the cemetery, they can visit their loved ones, and I think it's a wonderful thing to add to Willowmont Cemetery. Some of the graves at Willowmont Cemetery goes back years and years, centuries.
Oh, yes. Yeah.
So it's a wonderful thing to have in Shelbyville.
Yes. One of the biggest issues the council and staff face from time to time, of course, is the cleanup. We have 2 days dedicated throughout each year that we actually pick up most anything curbside. Every day we've got more and more challenges that come along, and we encourage our citizens to clean up and stay neat, and it just makes a world of difference. We have so many visitors coming through this community. Yeah,
and that's one of the things, and Marilyn, you and I have talked about it, and the other council members I've talked to, we don't want Shelbyville aesthetically, we want it to be a beautiful city. We want it, and we're trying to do things with the River Overlook project and different things like that. Shelbyville's my hometown, Maryland's your hometown, and I've been here for all these years, and we want it to look very nice, and we know people have from time to time things that wear out. Where am I going to take them and things like that? Well, you don't have to wait for these 2 days. We have a trash or a place that you can take it off of Railroad Avenue, and you can take it to that dump site. And I think there's a small fee for taking it, but if you have a sofa or things like that, that's household goods that you want to get rid of, you don't have to wait for these 2 days during the year and stop and stack stuff around in your house. Just take it out there. And they're willing to take it at that point. So let's help clean up on that. If you have a neighbor that's maybe not able to do some of the things for themselves, can I help you out?
Sure.
Can I help you out? And we do have codes people going around looking at maybe a junk car being in the yard, and the license tag expired, the car doesn't operate and things, so we're asking those people to move those, and those codes are in place for us to do that. We've also looking at situations where people may be parking on the grass and in yards, and if they're renting and things, the landlord doesn't like that and the neighbors don't like that. So I think you have to park on gravel or concrete or paved driveway is what they're asking for.
Yes.
So it's not only cars, it's other things that you might be placing in the yard and things like that. Think about your neighbor. Think about it. If your property, you want it to be as nice looking as possible, one of the wonderful things that we have here in the United States of America, we can own our home. And that, a man's home is his castle and a woman's is definitely, it's her castle. And we want to make sure that you can live and be kind to your neighbors. Don't make too much noise. If you have animals and things like that, we're just looking at ordinances on that. Make sure that you're not bothering that neighbor and certain things like that. We want to be kind to one another and treat them as you would like to be treated.
Perfectly said.
There
You touched on the file. We did just go through one reading. I
Right.
think there's another reading coming up where we're banning the roosters. There's some other things there
Yeah.
as well, so that's
Yeah.
going to be interesting.
And we don't have a major problem with the roosters, but those people who live next to roosters, and they crow not only in the morning, they'll crow anytime.
Anytime.
And it was, again, that was that noise issue.
Yeah.
And you may have equipment at your house that makes a lot of noise and things, so that's what I want you to consider. But the roosters, we're going to, I guess the word is outlaw,
Yeah.
or not have roosters in the city limits because of your neighbors and things. And we do have some restrictions on poultry, chickens, and things like that, if you have little coops for them. And that's to be kind to the animals
Sure.
and things. And our dogs, we talked about doing some things there too.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Very well. Thank you so much, Mayor. A pleasure always talking with you, working with you for this last pretty much a year. And so I think
We've had some large projects.
Oh, huge.
You know.
Yes, huge.
Big projects.
Yes, yes.
Trying to do the best we can for the people
Yeah,
of Shelbyville.
absolutely, and that is it in a
Yeah.
nutshell. Thank you, Mr. Randy Carroll, the Honorable Mayor for the City of Shelbyville. It is Moments with the Mayor, and you're going to have a recurring role right there on the couch, so
Thank you.
get comfortable with that.
Okay.
It's another edition of Let's Talk Shelbyville. I'm Marilyn Ewing. Thank you so much for watching.